It's a brand new day with Mo and News. It's time to have your say. She's got the scoop, the stories, all the latest trends. Mo's got the news, let's hear it. My dear friends, from politics to showbiz, no story's too small. Mo covers it all. She's got the inside call, her voice so smooth, like honey in the summer sun. With Mo on the mic, you know the news is always fun. Mornings with Mo, the best newsy news in the world. With her style so classic and her stories unfurled, from morning till night, she's got us in the know. Turn on your radio, let Mo's newsy news flow.
Hey guys, it's Mo with the morning news on this 14th of January. We have a lot of news and things to get through and all the absurdity as per usual. Good morning, Wolfram. Thank you as always for doing your Modly Mod duties. Tammy Bogart, good morning. Bond, James Bond, good morning. I will allow howling because I don't like my neighbors, which is terrible. I'm working on it. Look, I'm praying. Don't worry about it. My attitude will change. Colorado Mountain Girl, Kathy Michelle, good morning. Captain Kern and Penny Williams, Dark Alile, and Alice G, welcome. So our first news story is that a 6.8 magnitude earthquake has struck off the coast of Japan. Now, this was from yesterday, so it is not, current now. And welcome, Audio Coffee. A 6.8 magnitude earthquake struck off the coast of Mizaki Prefecture on Monday evening in Japan, initially setting off a tsunami warning before it was called off. The U.S. Geological Survey Center said that the epicenter of the earthquake was about 11 miles southeast of that particular prefecture in the Hyuga-Nada Sea, at a depth of about 19 miles. The Japanese authorities issued a tsunami advisory for Mizaki and Kyoshi prefectures with an expected high of up to 3 feet, warning residents to stay away from the coast until it's called off. As a precaution, Kyushu Shinkansen bullet train operators suspended sections of service until the warnings were called off. The Ehime Prefecture Ikala nuclear power plant and the Kiyashima Prefecture Sendai nuclear plant did not report any unusual activities during the warnings. The earthquake comes nearly a week after a 7.1 magnitude quake struck a remote region of Tibet in China, killing at least 126 people and injuring nearly 200 more. Now, that particular earthquake happened in the Dingiri County mountainous region near the border of Nepal and Mount Everest. Now, I will tell you guys that I've probably mispronounced every single one of those words, and I realized I didn't have the story on for you. So that would be a my bad. So hopefully, nothing came of this. Although, is it sad that I thought, okay, wait, if Japan has has an earthquake, maybe a tsunami would come and help the fires in California. It was 3 a.m. I was not thinking clearly. I don't want anyone to have an earthquake. Well, more is coming out about the lack of preparedness that we all kind of saw, but we are getting confirmation in the forms of, memos and different things that LA was not prepared to in my personal opinion, a criminally negligent fashion. But that's just my opinion. I'm not a lawyer. Delays and lack of resources. How LA Fire Department was late to the Palisades Fire. According to witnesses, quote, no one came. Welcome, Carol Sook Scott, Jedi Jess. Thank you for your Modly Mod duties as well. Super T and Factual Lie, good morning. It took LA firefighters at least 45 minutes to respond to the Palisades blaze when it broke out last week, according to records and local homeowners. And by that time, around 11 a.m. on January 7th, it was too late. What was a large plume of smoke had turned into a 10-acre blaze. By 10:30 a.m., firefighters were reporting a fire was 200 acres, aided by strong winds carrying embers as far as 2 miles away. The timeline compiled by the Washington Post raises questions over whether Los Angeles Fire Department's slow and lack of resources started at the start may have allowed the blaze to spiral out of control. The exact cause of the fire is still under investigation, and the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms is still investigating. Well, hopefully, there's no dogs out there. Those jerk faces hate dogs. Keep them in the forest, away from dogs. However, sources told the Los Angeles Times that the fire, which claimed at least 8 lives and consumed nearly 24,000 acres of land and more than 5,000 buildings, quote, appears to have human origins, end quote. Welcome, Lexi. Noting the area in which it started is a favorite outdoor spot for hikers, teenagers, and others. The Washington Post theorized that the blaze could have reignited from a smaller fire sparked by fireworks on New Year's Eve, which may have continued to smolder in the hills of the upscale neighborhood even days after firefighters knocked it down, according to forensic analysts by the outlet. However, constrained resources and an awkward stutter step response muddled communications appear to have prevented crews from reaching the genesis point before it was too late, according to the Post. Making matters worse, strong winds and very dry conditions allowed the fire to grow exponentially within a matter of hours. Additionally, since the fires broke out, LA Mayor Karen Bass and LAFD Chief Christian Crowley have been in a public spat over funding and staffing for the fire department after the mayor cut the budget by 17.6 million this year. Now, Crowley warned that her department was dangerously short-staffed and underfunded already. The LAFD did not respond for comment. So here's the timeline. You've got January 1, midnight, firefighters respond to Lockman Fire northeast of Pacific Palisades. 4:46 a.m., Los Angeles Fire Department contains the fire after it burned 8 acres. So what they're trying to say is that this original fire that happened on January 1st, they put that down, but they didn't quite take care of all of the embers. So they are postulating that this fire kind of contained itself for nearly 6 days and then decided to explode. That doesn't make sense to me. I'm not a fireologist. I'm not an emberologist, but it Captain Kern. It appears we're supposed to ignore the fact that Mo looks like she's ready to go on a date with a firefighter. Well, it's my anniversary. I wanted Mr. Mo to remember that there is a reason that he keeps me around for 14 years. Or nearly 14 years. What year is it this year? No, 14. Holy crap, we've been married for 14 years. I think I deserve a medal. Well, Mr. Mo probably deserves a medal. And, to make it even more special, it is my middle son's birthday. Yes, he was born on our anniversary, which means we never forget it, but we also rarely ever celebrate it on the right day. But yeah, so I had to do the math because my middle son is the one that breaks, the pattern because everyone this year other than him is on an even number. So I've got, 18, 16, 14, 12, and then 11. So thank you guys so much for your well wishes. We are probably gonna do something this weekend. I don't know what. And yeah, he is so excited, he got to take his little, cookies in, and I felt bad. There's one kid that has gluten-free allergies, and I am so beyond not informed on what's really good for gluten-free. So I felt bad, but the teacher said she has special snacks that his mom takes in so that when other kids bring in snacks, he has one because I felt so bad. I don't want any kid to not have a treat. But he was so excited, and when you're a kid and you get to take in, like, your cupcakes or your cookies and you're all super excited, and he was just loving life today. Okay, so back to the story. Sorry for the aside. Um, they're trying to say that on January 7th, so 6 days after that, this particular fire rebirthed itself allegedly because it just doesn't make sense. And this is on the New York Post. You can follow the entire timeline, but it is absolutely, and I do believe this, a smack in the face for all of these politicians to be in cover their behind mode. Cover their behind mode. And it is so disingenuous to use the suffering of others to try to convince yourself that you are absolved of this. Don't be mean to me. It's mean. People are suffering. Don't use their suffering as a shield. That is so gross and contemptible. It's not your pain, it's someone else, but you're gonna wear it like a cloak of, invincibility. It's all around gross. Well, I always knew I liked David Spade, although he does look more like Joe Dirt every passing minute. Although Joe Dirt is a great movie, and when I get movies set up on Discord, we will be watching Joe Dirt because in my family, I don't know if your family's alike, but we communicate through movie quotes, and the amount of times we have told someone, "Now, son, don't church it up. It is dirt, not dirty." I don't know if your family does that, but if it's Sandlot, Joe Dirt, or a couple other movies, we all will, just talk to each other in movie lines. David Spade offers $5,000 reward to catch LA arsonist amid deadly fire. Keep your eyes peeled. Will do, Joe Dirt. Midnight Toker. David Spade is determined to catch arsonist in Los Angeles as the deadly blazes continue. The Saturday Night Live alum, 60 years old, made a video on his Instagram stories over the weekend where he promised financial reward to whoever can catch any arsonist in the area. I'm out in California and people are saying guys are lighting fires out there. Make this shit worse, David Spade said, sitting in his car. They just caught someone we're pretty sure was lighting fires walking along with a blowtorch and they let him go, he continued. Spade then told his followers, if you can find someone lighting a fire and you catch someone and you get the cops to bust them and throw them in jail, I'll give you 5,000 bucks. So keep your eyes peeled and do what you can out there. Now, here's the problem with this. If they let that man go right after taking him in, there is no way for anyone to get this reward because in order for this, for all of the conditions to be, satisfied, the cops would have to keep them, and apparently they're letting them go. I how how do you have raging fires, you catch people lighting fires, and you're like, "Oh, cashless bail." Now, don't fake it though, he warned. No staging, let me know. There have been several cases of arson in LA as the county continues to be destroyed by multiple fires. On Friday night, a homeless man was attacked and zip tied by onlookers who were suspected of trying to start fires with a blowtorch in Woodland Hills near the Kenneth fire. And that's this particular gentleman just walking around with a blowtorch, as you do. Welcome, Jill Ems. And hey, Joe. The suspect, who has been identified as an illegal migrant, Juan Manuel Serrera Lavia, is from Mexico and was arrested and being held on felony possession or probation violation by the LAPD. Detectives are still investigating it as a possible arson, but the LAPD Assistant Chief Dominic Choi said on Friday that there wasn't immediately enough evidence for that charge. The Kenneth Fire has since been fully contained after burning more than 1,000 acres, fire officials confirmed on Sunday. The causes of all the fires are under investigation. According to the Washington Post, the Palisades Fire, which killed 8 people and spread to over 23,000 acres, may have started from scorch marks left by an earlier inferno, and that's believed to have been caused by fireworks set off on New Year's Eve. But some celebrities have speculated that arsonists are at fault for the devastating crisis in Southern California. So they did let him go. I do wonder, this is a point where, that dedication to due process kind of bites me in the ass because I want this man in jail. He was trying to start MFing fires when you are dealing with a fire, catastrophe, and you let him go, but they didn't have enough evidence. And if you're principled, the principle has to hold for people you want to put in jail anyways, which sucks, but we have to put our big girl panties on and be principled, which isn't fun, but we have to. Daggone it. Well, this douche canoe of epic proportions, I mean, this is attempted murder if you ask me, but I'm not a lawyer. Fired Disney World employee pleads guilty to hacking the menu and removing life-saving allergy information. Now, this is absolutely criminal. This is hate. This is just why? Do you ever just look at something that someone's done that's just so randomly awful and just wanna go up and shake them and say, "Why?" Like, just give me your logic tree, give me your thought process. I won't agree with it, but I wanna understand the logic behind this because this is a certifiably ridiculous thing to do. A former Disney World Resort employee has pled guilty to hacking into one of the company's computer systems and removing life saving allergy information from restaurant menus. Michael Sher was fired on June 13th, 2024, for his alleged misconduct. He worked as a menu production manager, and his termination was considered, quote, contentious and not considered to be amicable, end quote, according to a federal court complaint. Now, Schuer has pled guilty to knowingly transmitting a program, information, code, and command, intentionally causing damage without authorization to a protected computer, and aggravated identity theft, according to a January 10th court plea agreement. Well, he does. Oh. Well, you have the Jim Brewer eyes. Ooh. In a statement to Fox News Digital, Scher's attorney, David Haas, said his client is, quote, prepared to accept responsibility for his conduct, end quote. Unfortunately, he has mental health issues that were exacerbated when Disney fired him upon his return from paternity leave, he added. No one was ever at risk of injury, and he is deeply remorseful for what happened. Tell that to the lady who died because they assured her that she would be given, food that was within her dietary limits because she had a deadly, you know, allergy and she died. I mean, these are not, silly little things. This is not a bandwagon like a couple years ago when everyone was afraid of gluten and no one had celiac disease. These are life and death things. It's, you know, that's why I went so out of my way to try to talk to the teacher to make sure that, child with a gluten allergy had something. These are not made up condition. People can die from allergic reactions. This is not, a victimless crime. No one was ever at risk of injury. Yes, they were. Fox News Digital has reached out to Disney. Their satanic lawyers could not be reached because it was a Sunday and they were in hiding. That is not in the article. Federal prosecutors say Sher, who they called a quote unquote threat actor, was responsible for the creation and distribution of all restaurant menus for the company, including the digital menus. Now, none of the changes made it onto the printed or digital versions of the menu, but they did result in $150,000 in damages, the company said, according to the complaint. Quote, namely, the threat actor manipulated the allergen information on menus by adding information to some allergen notifications that indicated that certain menu items were safe for individuals with peanut allergies, when in fact they could be deadly to those with peanut allergies, the complaint states. The allergen alterations focused on peanut, tree nut, shellfish, and milk allergens, prosecutors said. More specifically, the threat actor added notations to menu items indicating they were safe for people with specific allergies, which has the potential for fatal consequences depending on the severity of the customer's allergies. It is believed that these menus were identified and isolated by Company A prior to being shipped and distributed to restaurants. So, wild story. It's such a bizarre thing, and I've said it once, and I'm gonna say it again because I think people need to hear me in the back. Your mental health, the mental demons that you deal with, is a personal fight. Every single one of us has a personal fight going on that no one else knows about. But that doesn't give you a license to be an asshole, okay? I have heard stories of people who have walked through literal hell and are the nicest people. Nicest. They don't use their experiences, their struggles, their, personal issues as an excuse to be an utter douche canoe. And you have resting douche face, sir, for your actions. Oh, congratulations and happy birthday. I don't know that I'm allergic to anything except goat feed. Crazy story, but we have an orchard around us where they have a little petting zoo and you can feed the goats, which love that. But every time I would help my boys feed the goats, the feed, my hands would always tingle. It's on comparison of deadly allergies, not a thing, but I've not known myself to be allergic to anything except for getting IVs. Why do IVs hurt so much? That is the worst part. I am the weirdest person, but the worst part for me about giving birth or any part of going into the hospital has always been getting IVs. I hate them. They hurt so much for me. They hurt a long time after, and I hate them. I hate them so very much. Welcome to Mo's TED Talk on I hate IVs. Just to show that I can still celebrate someone I don't like their music, but Rod Stewart shared a personal photo of his children and grandchildren's to mark his 80th birthday. Now, I don't personally hate Rod Stewart. I like his music, but if you were a kid of the early 90s and your mom listened to soft rock, it was nothing but Forever Young and that stupid Bryan Adams song from Prince of Thieves. Nothing. I have been over Rod Stewarted. My mother's abuse of soft rock, music stations has personally hurt me. There you go. You know my deep, tragic struggle to deal with Rod Stewart. Singer and songwriter Rod Stewart celebrated a landmark birthday as he turned 80 years old on January 10th, sharing personal photos from over the years for the occasion. With some major throwbacks from his impressive music career, Stewart shared a rare photo of himself posing with his kids and grandkids for a wedding earlier this year. Stewart updated his on Instagram, writing with the caption, "Thank you for all the wonderful birthday wishes." So let's see his. Okay, I thought we were going to see the picture. That's not Rod Stewart. Is that Rod Stewart's wife? I am okay. Well, they're all a snazzy looking bunch wearing white pants, all white. Good Lord. I'll have to get that, bad touch doll and show them where the Rod Stewart lyrics hurt me. To be fair, I think I am traumatized by Rod Stewart. This is the funniest story. I have already explained and confessed to you that I was the world's weirdest child. Odd, just weird. Now, the song Rod Stewart doing the cover of "Can't Hurry Love." Now, being as how I hated Rod Stewart, I never paid attention, so I thought he said "Kangarilla." And I, in my little, child mind, figured that a kangarilla was something adults did, and I would learn about it when I was older. So one day I asked my mom, I said, okay, I was about 11, and I figured I was old enough to know the mysteries of the world. So I go up to my mom, who's already probably deathly afraid of what my mouth is going to come up with. So I finally came up to her and I said, Mom, what is a kangarilla? And she's like, "What the hell are you talking about? A and why?" I was the feral child of my mother. I would come up with these questions, and she's like, "I'm just trying to put my mascara on and be right with the Lord and get you to school. Could you just stop?" So I get it, I am getting payback. And she's like, "Where did you hear that?" And I said, "It's that song, Kangarilla, You Just Have to Wait." And my mom said, "What are you hearing?" Now my mom has bat echolocation hearing. This is why I learned to have all the voices in my head, because you could mutter outside in another county and my mom would be like, "What, what, what?" I really wish we had that one thing where you sing or you say the lyrics and it would have told you at that time, because the look that my mother gave me indicated that while she was happy that I was her child, she was worried about my ability to cope with the world, as she did not know where my mind was at. I always remember the look of, "Oh, dear God, I just hope you make it out okay. Like, I'm just here to keep you alive until you're 18, dear." So, that is my embarrassing story. I did not understand Can't Hurry Love. That is really why I don't like Rod Stewart, because he made me look stupid. Well, mostly I made me look stupid because I wasn't listening to the lyrics, but I still blame him, so there is where the enmity comes from, if you wonder. He has a great voice, I love Maggie, but I'm still mad at the Kangarilla, not gonna lie, and I will make one because that sounds like an awesome mixed up animal. I have seen him, but yeah, my mom worried about my sanity. Of course, that was after I told her I had a crush on Alex Trebek at 11, so maybe she was a little concerned for a reason. Now, it was the mustache and the fact that he knew all the answers. I wasn't really attracted to, an older guy, but I was just impressed when he had all the answers, and it was so snappy. Well, not all is golden in marriages. Jessica Simpson and her husband Eric Johnson have split after 10 years of marriage, a painful situation. Well, at least she didn't make a reality show out of this one. Jessica Simpson and her husband Eric Johnson have separated after 10 years of marriage. Quote, "Eric and I have been living separately, navigating a painful situation in our marriage," Simpson, 44, told People in a statement Monday. "Our children come first, and we're focused on what's best for them. We are grateful for all the love and support that's been coming our way and appreciate privacy right now as we work through this as a family." The pair's marriage has been subject to breakup rumors for months after eagle eyed fans noticed that the NFL Pro, 45, had not made an appearance on Simpson's Instagram since 2023. What's more, singer's fans noticed that she wasn't wearing her wedding ring since January 2024, and Johnson followed suit in recent months. The pair tied the knot in 2014 after 4 years of dating and share three children: Maxwell Maxie Drew, age 12, Ace Newt, Canute, age 11, and Bertie May, age 5. The family was last week forced to flee their California home amid the raging Los Angeles wildfires. The irresistible singer took to social media that night to share a photo of her plush backyard being overtaken by plumes of smoke and forcing her and her family to evacuate. "We stayed as long as we could," she captioned the image and shared it with her 6.3 million followers on her Instagram story. It is unclear if they have returned or whether their home is still intact. Alarm bells about the Paris marriage woes were raised after Johnson was noticeably absent from a family photo shoot posted to Instagram in early September. As a fashion designer celebrated the kids' first day back to school, the former athlete was nowhere to be seen. It's sad that their marriage is breaking up. Uh, okay, riddle me this, you guys. Do you think it's weird that people are, like, so involved in these stars' lives? My mom, God love her, but it was, hard copy, inside edition, Entertainment Tonight. I knew more about Suzanne Summers and Jane Seymour than I ever wanted to know. It is insane that people are watching her Instagram to see if her husband appears. We have become a voyeuristic society. It's beyond odd to me, some of the things that we share, and then some of the things that we, you know, watch. It's just weird. We have become a weird people, but I'm weird, so it doesn't matter. My mom had a People magazine, and God help you if you screwed with that before she got to read it. May heaven protect you. Saint Peter and all the apostles protect you if you messed up that damn People magazine before mom got to read it. Only on very special days. Oh, also, 1 second. We have a rant incoming. You guys know me. It's tangent engaged time, but I have something to say. Hollywood, keep your grubby, disgusting, modern audience hands off the labyrinth. The only codpiece I wanna see is David damn Bowie. Do not put Tom Hiddleston in, even though I think he's a cutie patootie, do not put it in. Do not remake The Labyrinth, do not remake Dark Crystal, keep your hands off Jim Henson, that is enough. Do not. They were both scary and ridiculous movies that scarred me as a child, but it's my childhood, and I wanna keep them scary and ridiculous. So you stop it, you keep your hands off it, you already got The Goonies, you disgusting sumbitches. You aren't coming for Labyrinth. Keep your hands off my childhood, I will start a damn civil lawsuit. Class action, you have ruined enough of my childhood, happiness. Take Captain fucking Planet. It has everything y'all want to message in. It's got the United Benetton of kids with magical rings of heart, spirit, fire. Take Captain Planet. You're gonna save Mother Gaia against, for the love of God. Remake that. No one cares because no one fucking liked the movie. Captain Planet had a mullet, but take that. Do not take The Labyrinth because whatever you do is going to be a soulless face mask, of everything that was magical about those movies. You take the soul out because Jim Henson cared and he focused, and this was his life work. But you guys want to take it and make it a soulless remake with bright colors but no soul. Keep your hands off of it, Hollywood. I'm not gonna do it. Not gonna happen. I will start a revolution if y'all Oh, we need to bring back Fraggle Rock. Also, Jim Henson, could you have made a more depressing damn ending to the dinosaurs? Kids show, funny dinosaur, hitting the, dad with a skillet, which not good in real life. But then it was damn if you wanna cry, watch the last episodes of the dinosaurs. They're basically just sitting in their house waiting to die. It is so daggone depressing. And, oh, WTF and what the hell, and this is why I hate surgery. I am always deadly afraid of this. A man was awake and conscious when his face caught fire during surgery, a lawsuit says. The family of an Oregon man who suffered severe burns after his face caught on fire during surgery is suing the hospital for 900,000. Make that 4 million, cuz face on fire. How the flippin' flippity flip flapjacks does your face alight in surgery? What is going on here? In December 2022, John Michael Murdoch, 52, was undergoing a procedure as part of his treatment for squamous cell carcinoma, a cancer of the tongue. He checked into Oregon Health Science Hospital for a tracheostomy to have a breathing tube inserted into his throat. As part of the operation for that surgery, his face was wiped with isopropyl alcohol for sterilization. But when the alcohol wasn't given enough time to dry, his face caught on fire when it came in contact with a surgical tool that emitted a spark. So they were probably using a cauterizing tool, and cauterizing simply burns the little capillaries so that they don't have to tie them off. So they covered his face in rubbing alcohol, didn't wait for it to, dry, and then tried to do a tracheostomy, so putting one of the breathing tubes in. So you have that, sparking electric right next to what where was the betadine? Yes, I know it's red. I know it would turn your face orange, but where was the safe betadine? Now, Murdoch lived for 6 more months after the incident, succumbing to his cancer in June 2023. While the burns caused by the surgical fire were not cited as his death, a lawsuit filed in December 2024 said that Murdoch suffered greatly and lived with disfiguring scars and other traumatic wounds to his face that never truly healed before he died. The lawsuit, according to reporting by the Oregonian, stated that Murdoch was awake and conscious during the fire. John's widow, Toni Murdoch, attained attorney Ron Chen, who said that the victim was unable to speak but could still express the discomfort and pain he felt following the incident. Named in the lawsuit was Dr. Adam Howard, a physician whose medical license lapsed in January 2024, according to the Oregonian. The outlet also reported that Howard now works in West Virginia, where his license is active. Oregon Health and Science University was also listed as a defendant, along with 10 unnamed surgical staff. The lawsuit stated that conditions in the operating room where Murdoch was to undergo his procedure were at risk of fire due to the presence of oxygen, ignition sources, and fuels, as this is referred to as the fire triangle in an alert by the Joint Commission, a healthcare safety organization. That kind of instruction and guidance came out in October 2023. According to the lawsuit, the tool they used on Murdoch that allegedly ignited the fire had a history of setting off sparks. A spokesperson for Oregon Health Science University did not provide a comment to the Oregonian due to patient privacy and said that the same condition applied to Howard. Chang did not respond immediately to Law and Crime for a comment, but he told the Oregonian that, quote, "This event never should have happened." Yeah, it shouldn't. This is all ridiculousness. This is terrible. Since I'm a science nerd, I'm really excited about this. Scientists just discovered an impossible particle. Now, I love learning about science, love it until they get to the math, and then I am like, none of what you say makes sense because you added letters to numbers and then you're dividing a bunch of letter numbers and squiggles. I don't get it. Scientists from the United Arab Emirates University have laid out a suggested roadmap for developing an antimatter engine. While antimatter research is very hypothetical and they do not yet have an experimental phase, researchers believe it could eventually be an option for space travel at higher velocities. Saswan Amir Omira and Abdul Hamad I. Mazouros uh, state of field paper on the subject appears now in the International Journal of Thermofluids. Well, that's a knee slapper. You have to wait till everyone's gone before you read that. Journal of Thermofluids. I can't even say it. A research review like this is not advocacy for a position paper. It's not an outline for how to build or even design an antimatter propulsion system, just an update on where the research is on this matter of time. So, a kilogram of matter antimatter annihilation releases a whopping energy that is over 250 times greater than that of nuclear fusion, and over 8 orders magnitude 108 more than chemical combustion, the paper states. The energy that this reaction releases is ridiculously giant and higher than any other reaction known in physics. Unfortunately, our theoretical knowledge of antimatter is not enough. To study it for any practical application, scientists must find a way to create and sustain more antimatter particles at a time than we currently can. Antimatter is created by colliding two particles together at a high speed that one splits into two pieces, matter and antimatter, and fall apart. Once this division has occurred, researchers must suspend the antimatter particle so it doesn't recombine with the regular particle. Now, typically, this is done with something like optical tweezers. Optical tweezers sounds like a really good punk band. Let's see here. Powerful laser beams that use light to trap the particle, but this process doesn't work like a Tupperware container, where you can just collect antimatter particles until you have enough to build an engine. Storing solid or liquid antimatter in contact with any state of matter is impossible. Antimatter keeps annihilating with matter at a rapid rate, therefore, the only and best option is to use magnetic, electrostatic, or electromagnetic suspension of solid antimatter in a vacuum. Now, these types of suspension have so far only held a few particles and only for a tiny amount of time. They also require enormous amounts of energy just to do that. Now, they suggested that despite these challenges, many other areas of aerospace physics will be in position to support antimatter technology fairly soon. Scientists have made huge advances in cooling and heat resistant materials. 3D printing could also revolutionize how these materials are produced to specification. So, we're not there yet. This was kind of a science tease, if you will, a little bit of a brain block, little bit of a, mental clam jam, if you will, lying, headline. We haven't figured it out. It's not an impossible particle. We just can't, hold it yet. So there you go. Definitely interesting. I do like to listen to it. I don't understand 90% of it because they go into mathing, but I love it. I I were as a nerd confession, I watched The Cosmos, the original one, all the time. I love it, just love it, but I'm a nerd. Well, you can like Caitlin Clark, you just can't stalk her. And, oh, it's never the mugshot you want, just never is. January 13th, a Texas man has been charged with stalking Caitlin Clark via sexually explicit and threatening messages that he sent to the athlete's ex account, according to a probable cause affidavit. Investigators yesterday arrested Michael Thomas Lewis, 55, in connection with the messages, which were sent to the basketball star beginning in mid December. Charged with felony stalking, Lewis is locked up in the Marion County Jail in lieu of $50,000 bond. Quote, due to the nature of these messages, a cop wrote, the FBI sent an emergency disclosure request to X, formerly Twitter, seeking Lewis's information about where he'd been posting the messages. Records provided by X showed that recent messages were sent from an IP address at an Indianapolis hotel and public library. Indianapolis Public Libraries, making stalking happen since 1892. I'm just kidding. Libraries are a good place. Use the internet wisely, children. Do not stalk people. Now, pictured above, Lewis's home address is listed in court records as homeless shelter operating outside of a church in Denton, a Dallas suburb. Now, Clark, 22, plays for the Indiana Fever of the Women's National Basketball Association. The team's home arena is in Indianapolis's Greenbridge Fieldhouse. When people questioned him last week about the messages to Clark, Lewis, who was staying in an Indianapolis hotel, claimed that, quote, it's an imagination fantasy type thing and it's a joke. It's nothing to do with threatening. In a police interview Saturday, Clark said that she had been very fearful since learning of the messages and that she altered her public appearances and pattern of movements due to fear for her safety. The athlete, who said she never responded to Lewis's post, added that she'd become very concerned for her safety after learning that Lewis was in Indianapolis. A judge ordered Lewis to have no further contact with Clark and issued a stay-away order covering Greenbridge Fieldhouse and a second Indianapolis arena where the Fever plays. He is scheduled for an initial court hearing tomorrow morning, and he could face up to 6 years in prison. Yeah. Well, he's originally from Dallas, so we don't claim him. This is sweet, and as a person that failed their first driving test, this is sweet. It's crushing. You feel awful. Parallel parking is the devil, but this is kind of sweet. Uber is offering free rides to kids who flunked their driving test. They're getting a free ride. Uber is offering young would-be drivers who flunked their driver's exam free access to their services with some restrictions. Teens, we have you covered until you take your next test, Uber said in a written statement. The giveaway is to cheer up discouraged driving test takers and parents too, who often no doubt enjoy the break from providing taxi services. The promotion begins on January 9th and is only available for Uber for teen accounts. Uh, Uber does background checks, right? I don't know. At first, I was thinking, "This is great," but then I'm thinking, you're encouraging young kids to get in cars with random people, and something about my ingrained momness says no to this. It's so strange. We get into random people's cars now. Do you understand how quickly our moms' flip-flops would be off if we told them, "No, mom, we're paying to get in a weird person's car?" So, it seems interesting, but it also seems like this could go terribly wrong. Now, the family friendly feature that authorizes teenagers between 13 to 17 with legal guardian consent to use the app. The parents can add the teen to their family profile and receive alerts for whenever their child requests a ride that will simultaneously follow their ride from pickoff to drop off. According to the rideshare giant, the promotion is good for 6 rides, each worth a maximum of $20. The offer is available until March 31st, 2025. In addition, it's designed to lure new riders, those who have already signed up and used the app. So if you're a, current longtime user, this is not for you. They are not going to, give this to you. This is for new riders. So it's only for teen users that have never taken a ride or ordered from Uber or have an existing Uber account. So there is a caveat. There you go. Now, interested flunkies who are new to the app have to download the car scheduling service app and visit their website. This will prompt them to fill out a questionnaire about their recent driving test through the app. The questionnaire will ask teens questions confirming their, failing written knowledge or the road test. Once submitted and confirmed, Uber will update the client's account with a promotional code. The Uber provides teen with safe onboarding education so they'll be aware of the safety features available to them while using the app. This promotion is not valid in California. Welcome, Debbie Thiel and Kathy Michelle. More science because I love it. Fun Diane, at least they're not driving. I mean, I'm gonna be real. I failed my first driving test. I did not practice parallel parking in my mom's minivan, and when you're doing it in the little driver's ed car, it's like, and then me with the van, I'm like, "This is gonna suck." And the guy's over there with his little clipboard, and he's like, "Doing great. You're gonna do fine." And I am like, "I'm gonna go into someone's yard." I fully admit, like, I am the a-hole parker. I fully admit that I try my best. I'm working hard to be better, but I sometimes get too close to one line or the other. I am not the greatest parker. 153 winners of the Nobel Prize and World Food Prizes seek a new way to grow food to meet surging global need. More than 150 recipients of the Nobel and World Food Prizes released an open letter Tuesday calling for a dramatic increase in research and commitment to new food distribution efforts, with a goal of producing more crops and avoiding a global hunger crisis in the coming decades. The letter notes that an estimated 700 million people are now food insecure and desperately poor, but without a moonshot effort to grow more and different kinds of food, far more people will be in dire need because, climate change and population growth. As difficult and uncomfortable as it might be to imagine, humanity is heading toward even more food insecurity. So it does seem like we are, trying to find ways. Um, there is an incredible wealth of knowledge when you talk to farmers about how to keep the soil well or, doing well, how, you have to plant in a rotation, how you have to leave things fallow. Let's listen to farmers, not think tanks. Let's listen to them about how to be good stewards of the land. Let's listen to them about, how to take care of animals and be, conscientious, stewards of the land. How about we ban factory farming? How about we do that? It's easy to tell us that the world is going to turn into Tatooine, but if you don't listen to the people that live on the land, what the hell are you doing? So it's very impressive that they're all getting together to try to work on things. But the truth is, if you force emerging nations into this stupid net zero carbon neutral policy, we have developing countries that are using solar wind power and can't even keep their insulin cold because, sometimes the sun doesn't shine and sometimes the wind doesn't blow. We are If we really wanna help them, we need to understand that energy as it is right now is going to be from fossil fuels. We're working hard, but we are not there yet. We cannot completely go to green. It is not supported, it is not financially there, and we are consigning these developing nations, we are hindering them. We are pulling the ladder up behind us. We said, "Hey, we used fossil fuels, but not you. You get to develop with unreliable energy and you can't even keep your insulin, cold." So there is definitely this sort of NIMBY behavior that I really don't like with a lot of people who are convinced that we are turning into Tatooine. It's always they need to do this. It's never us need to do this. It's very odd, and I don't really like it. Now, this is our WTF story of the morning. When I saw this headline, I was trying to make sure that I was fully awake at 4 a.m. Oh, Tammy, your daughter shares a birthday with my son, so happy birthday to her. And congratulations, mom, because I know there's a lot of effort and investment that goes into having children. A wild coyote was yanked from a refrigerated section of an Aldi supermarket in Chicago because, y'all, this is, I don't know about you guys, but as I have grown older and become more adult, I have never wanted to quote airplanes so much. Pick the wrong day to stop sniffing glue. The Aldi Coyote gave Wile E. Coyote a run for his money Monday morning. Shoppers inside a Chicago supermarket had a reason to howl when a coyote was yanked out of the refrigerated section by a pair of officers in a hair-raising moment caught on video. Now let me see if I can get the y'all didn't post the video, you doggone dinguses? Alright, now you won't be able to hear sound, but you will be able to see it. How in the Schnell did a coyote get into the ham section? And why are you using a broom? That crap's like Narnia, it goes all the way back there. Find Aslan. Oh, this will not be good. He's like, "Back to my homeland. Come back, Mr. Tumnus." That is a really deep frozen section, though. That's all the way back there. An officer eventually grabbed what appeared to be a furry tail poking out of the shelves and furiously pulled before the wild animal, shockingly emerged, landed on the market floor. The gray coyote quickly scurried back between the cold products and was later taken into custody by animal control around 10 a.m., according to reports. The animal is currently in our facility awaiting transfer to our wildlife rehabilitation partner, Flint Creek Wildlife Rehabilitation. Chicago Animal Control told NBC Chicago. The coyote appears uninjured, but Flint Creek will assess him and confirm his health before releasing him back into the wild if deemed appropriate. Welcome, Shizzy Raiders. Good to see ya. I mean, he's a cute little coyote. We have a bunch of coyotes to the point where I call it neighborhood bitch, but it's called next door. I don't know if you guys have this, but everyone in my neighborhood has next door. And the Mrs. Kravitz we have in our neighborhood, I mean, they should do surveillance for the CIA because as soon as a random car comes in, I don't know this person. Do you know this person? If you are a person and you are driving in my neighborhood and you are new, you have been clocked, photographed, and some old biddy is telling the world that you are in our neighborhood. It's hilarious. My next door is always going off like, "He looks a little shady." A witness told ABC7 Chicago that the animal had wandered around the store in the parking lot before it snuck inside. It picked an odd location. They do this sometimes. They make a mistake and they're trying to avoid us. They're trying to hide from us. Stan Geert with the Cook County Coyote Project explained to the station. Probably trying to find a new area to hide and ended up inside the store. This has happened in the past. So if you're in Chicago, maybe stay out of Aldi or take some bear mace. Sounds like a challenge. What can you put in the car windows legally that'll trigger them the most? King Bob, hopefully I will have good stories. We've reached the part where I generally try to put really good stories at the end so it's not all black pill. So hopefully take some deep breaths. I know it's so easy when, someone tells you to relax or take some deep breaths. But if there's something that really helps you calm, try doing that. If it's a song or, something that you hold. In my experience, and this helps me, but if I can focus on just one kind of sense, so like something I can smell I know you're supposed to pick 5, but I can't do 5. I can do 1. That seems to help sometimes, and unfortunately for most people, the only way out is through. So we're here for you while you're going through. Well, what in the actual hell? I wish we had Valhalla in here because maybe this woman was raised among wild goats. That's the only thing I can figure because WTF, ma'am. And look, as a current card carrying member of a 5 head, not a 4 head, you should not be headbutting people when you got a 5 head. An Illinois woman was back on the streets after being jailed for allegedly assaulting a 6-year-old child in December. Now, Martha Dunham, 36, was ordered by a judge to stay away from children under the age of 18 as a condition of her release from Ogle County Jail. Dunham was arrested on December 13th on felony charges of aggravated battery to a child under 13 and DB. During a court appearance on January 9th, she was released from jail and slapped with a protective order. Good morning, Welsh Lady reads. According to court records obtained by a local news outlet, Shaw Local, Dunham was accused of headbutting the child and pulling the child's hair. Now, the relationship between Dunham and the child was not disclosed, nor was the relationship to the child's mother, who asked for a protective order against Dunham. Records state that the alleged assaults were physical contact of an insulting or provoking nature. Dunham appeared in court on December 23rd and pled not guilty to the charges against her. A hearing on the protective order that was filed by the alleged victim's mother after the December incident was held on January 7th. The mother asked for a 2-year extension of the order, but when asked by Ogle County Judge Russell Kroll if she would agree to the order, Dunham asked, "Can we do it until my criminal case is settled?" Kroll extended the order through January 28th, then recused himself from any further proceedings, citing a conflict of interest. He reportedly represented the child's mother as a private defense attorney. Ma'am, garbage behavior. A 6-year-old and you're going to headbutt him like you're a damn goat? I'm going to put you in Valhalla's, pen. You can hang out with the rest of the goats. Well, Starbucks is gonna have you pay to potty. How will that go over? $18 for a cup of coffee and you have to pay to potty. Okay. Starbucks is making customers pay to use the bathroom under the CEO's new code of conduct. Well, that'll be fun. Can you imagine those little baristas having to tell some arrogant Karen that she can't use the restroom unless she pays? Godspeed, brave warriors. Godspeed. If you hang out or use the restrooms at Starbucks, you're going to have to buy something. Starbucks on Monday said it was revising a policy that invited everyone into its stores. A new code of conduct, which has been posted in all company owned North American stores, also bans discrimination or harassment, consumption of outside alcohol, smoking, vaping, drug use, and panhandling. The fact that you have to say that you can no longer do these things inside is a sign that we all need, you guys, we're forming mom squads. Mom shame squads, we're coming back. All of us will have a chancla or a sandal or a flip flop, and we are going to be taking things and taking care of things. We're taking our culture back, damn it. We need moms to stand up and stop saying and start saying, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. And if that doesn't work, it's the chancla, allegedly in Minecraft. Now, a Starbucks spokesperson, JC Anderson, said that the new rules are designed to help prioritize paying customers. Anderson said that most other retailers already have similar rules. We want everyone to feel welcome and comfortable in our stores, Anderson said. By setting clear expectation for behavior and use of space, we can create a better environment for everyone. The code of conduct warns that violators will be asked to leave and says the store might call law enforcement if necessary. Starbucks said that employees would receive training on enforcing the new policy. The new rules reverse an open door policy that was put in place in 2018 after two African American men were arrested at a Philadelphia Starbucks where they had gone for a business meeting. The individual store had a policy of asking non paying customers to leave, and the men hadn't bought anything. But the arrest, which was caught on video, was a major embarrassment for the company. At the time, Starbucks chairman Howard Schultz said he didn't want people to feel less than if they were refused access. We don't want to become a public restroom, but we're going to make the right decision in 100% of the time and give people the key, Schultz said. Since then, though, employees and customers have struggled with unruly and even dangerous behavior in stores. In 2022, Starbucks closed 16 stores around the country, including 6 in Los Angeles and 6 in its hometown of Seattle, for repeated safety issues, including drug use and other disruptive behaviors that threaten staff. The new rule comes as part of a pushback by Starbucks' new CEO, Brian Nicole, to reinvigorate the chain's sagging sales. Well, how about people don't like being asked their name? Raise your hand if you're an introvert and you do not want to tell, this barista your name, so you make it up, and then you forget the made up name, and then you're like, "Crap, what did I say my name was?" I don't want to tell you my name. I know that sounds like a weird thing, but it is 900 questions just to get a flippin' cup of coffee. Do you want venti? Do you want a splash of this? Do you want this, that, and the other? No, I don't want to have to interact with people that much to get a damn cup of coffee because I hate coffee. But I don't want to have to interact with people that much to get something. I don't want to have to make that many decisions. I don't want to have to. I'll have to try that. I I did recently go to Starbucks. It's been about 2 years, but when I was waiting for an Uber, I got a Starbucks, and good lord, the amount of money people spend. Now, I will say I am a sucker for a Starbucks cup. Like, forget Stanley cups. I love me a Starbucks cup, but I buy them things on eBay because I'm not gonna pay full price. I am the queen of I'll look at and find something on eBay. Thank you so much. Bless you. Have a great day. Well, these are some tips if we want to be healthy, and we all need to be healthy. There is a creeping crud virus thing going around. Everyone is sick, getting sick, or just getting over getting sick. So hopefully these will help us. Sip elderberry juice, drink your coffee in the morning, wear shoes while you cook, plus 11 more tips to have a great week. With January 10th being National Quitters Day, aka when many people abandon their New Year's resolutions, the past few days have been make or break for goal setters. If you need more motivation to keep you going, you might to try to ask a friend or coworker to keep you accountable and return the favor. You can also reflect on the progress you've made so far, even if it's just a few chapters on your way to reading more in the 2005 year. Celebrate those wins, big or small. So, the first tip is drink your coffee in the morning. If you can't start your day without a cup of joe, consider this. Findings published in the European Heart Journal found people who drank coffee in the morning had a lower risk of mortality than those who drank the beverage at other times of the day, even adjusting for other factors like sleep duration. This comes on the heels of research that found that coffee drinkers may be less likely to get certain types of cancer. The bottom line, go ahead and reach for that caffeine, but not too late in the day. Sip elderberry juice. You may have seen elderberry supplements advertised to help you fight off a cold, but the research from Washington State University found there may be other benefits. Now, this is a small study published in Nutrients, but it found that drinking 12 ounces of elderberry juice a day for a week improved gut health, reduced blood sugar levels, and enhanced fat burning in overweight adults. Not buying shit tons of elderberry juice right now. Just gonna Y'all are gonna see me just taking shots of elderberry juice, like, "Come on, let me get some abs." I know you don't get abs unless you work out, but I still think it should be something that one gets if they are faithful for 1 week to their diet. Like, just like a motivation ab, like, "Come on, God," like, just a little one, like, you start seeing a little definition in the jiggle, and you're like, "Hells yes, we will go back and do our chair exercise today." Yeah, if I had created the human body, I would have given us all, like, a celebratory ab if we were doing good. The theory is that elderberry's high levels of anthocyanins, a plant compound with anti-inflammatory and metabolic benefits, may drive these positive effects. Now, if you're eager to try it yourself, talk to your healthcare provider first, as elderberries are not recommended for people with certain heart conditions. Try this pea hack. Green peas are rich in plant-based protein, fiber, vitamin K and C, and iron, something that many people are lacking in their diets. But if you always boiled your peas and found the results a bit blah, consider a new approach. Tasting Table recommends sauteing your peas for the best flavor. Adding a little bit of butter to the pan and even throwing more spices can make these bland veggies more palatable. No, the fact that they were just, it is. It's not Raid Shadow Legends yet, but Big Elderberry is sponsoring. Increase your NEAT. I have no idea what that means, but let's see what it is. NEAT stands for non-exercise activity thermogenesis, and it refers to the activity that you do that's not your formal workout, like sweeping your kitchen floor, shoveling snow, carrying your kid to bed. It's a great way to boost your calorie burn. And there's a bunch of easy ways to sneak in more NEAT. Take the stairs, park further from the store while running errands, place your home, pace your home while you're walking or on a call, instead of vegging on the couch. It can't replace formal exercise. Damn. But getting in more NEAT can help manage your weight and break up sedentary time. Eat more beans. Well, I mean, that'll make you healthier, but it'll also make you sleep in another bedroom. And don't light a candle. Behold the magical fruit. There are so many reasons that beans are beneficial. Heck, they've even got their own day of celebration on January 6th. They keep cholesterol, glucose levels in check, and have a lot of fiber to support digestive health, are also packed with plant-based protein that keeps you full for longer. Try adding black beans or chickpeas to your salad or liven up soup with lentils or snack on edamame. Now, I will say for beans, in your local Walmart, the bean section where they have all the bag of beans, they have this particular soup that's the Cajun, a bunch of mixed beans. I have sworn all my life, I flippin' hate lima beans. Like, if I'm president, lima beans are out the door. We're sending them all to Mars. It'll be expensive, but they need to go to Mars. We'll terraform. Sorry, Martians, you get lima beans. But you make that soup with a bunch of, I like really spicy Cajun sausage and ground beef. I will eat that for a week. Now I really want it. Damn it. I'm gonna go have to make some soup. But I really like it, and I was never a fan of, chickpeas or anything, and it's just got a crap ton of beans in it. So I really like it, but you do have to soak the beans for quite a long time or put them in a pressure cooker if you want them the same day. That's my only advice. Scale back on your social media time. If you find yourself irritable with humanity because we are all so dumb, no, wait, that wasn't written. Research says you're not alone. Oh, good. We're all getting to the get off my lawn stage. This will be great. My introvert nation, arise. Although the content may matter in terms of how ticked off you get after TikTok, it's still important to take a break from your screen when possible. Start or set a far flung exercise goal. The beginning of the year brings many people to the gym, but not everyone sticks with an ambitious new exercise routine that they set in January. If you want to be one of the people that does, consider setting a long term but attainable goal, such as running a 5K in April. Uh, Peter Dugan, a strength conditioning and rehabilitation specialist in New York's Fuel Sport and Spine, told New York. Uh, don't make it off the couch in January. You still have plenty of time to achieve your goal rather than just giving it up entirely. You can also train at a more manageable pace and focus on progress, not perfection. Setting smart goals. Go barefoot, but not in the kitchen. Never go barefoot. That's one of the hardest things that I've had to get used to is I can no longer tolerate walking barefoot. It hurts, not because my kids are terrible or, we're messy people, but there is always just little particles on the floor. I vacuum and sweep all the time, but with my condition, I can't handle it. If there's something wet that's been spilled on the floor and I'm barefoot, I just don't do it. I know people love barefoot, but I just can't. No shoes, no problem. Experts told Huffington Post it's generally a good idea to go barefoot around your home. It helps increase intrinsic muscular strength in your feet, supporting all over mobility and allows your skin to breathe, avoiding things like foot fungus. But there is a time where you might want to consider supportive cushioned shoes indoors, and that's when you're doing a task that involves a lot of standing, like cooking. Clinical podiatrist Dr. Robert Conello told the outlet that standing for long periods of time while barefoot can add excessive loads in one area of the foot, so slip on some shoes before you whip anything up. Protect your gut with fiber rich foods. Fiber is the key to not getting sick. Well, that's what it says in a new study published in Nature Microbiology, where researchers analyzed stool samples from over 12,000 people. This is why I can't be a scientist. They are excited about 12,000 stool samples across 45 countries and identified 135 protected gut bacteria species, including Felicae bacterium, which thrive on fiber and produce beneficial compounds that protect or prevent infections. So, do you guys, all of these are just suggestions. I'm not a medicalologist. I am not a life coach. I am barely a functional, not hot mess human being. So, do what you feel is right with your doctor. This is what they're telling you. Try this neck exercise. Spend a ton of time behind your desk. This neck exercise, shared by Los Angeles Times. Let's see what the neck workout is. Oh, so you just, well, doesn't everyone do that? Well, there you go. So tuck your chin forward, rotate your neck. You don't have to be a neckologist. Keep a drinking journal. That doesn't you're a crapologist. I feel like that sometimes. You don't have to do a dry January to become more mindful about your drinking habits. In an essay for Insider, Julie Pascovetti shared how she tracked her alcohol consumption in a journal, ultimately realizing she was technically a heavy drinker. Journaling allows you to be more mindful about your habits, including drinking and how they make you feel. If you're considering cutting back on alcohol, track your mood, sleep, and overall wellness after you've been drinking, and that might provide the push you need. Learning a new language, a study from sleep on it. A study from the University of South Australia tested how sleep impacts learning a new language, and it turns out the answer is quite a lot. Participants in the study were taught a miniature language, mini pinyin, and split into two groups. One of the participants stayed awake before being tested, while the other ones slept after their learning session. The group that slept performed significantly better. Researchers linked this to brain wave activity during non REM sleep that helps transfer and store more memories, meaning the language they learned was likely to get locked in. But who knows? Uh, you know, you could socialize. Well, that's something I just can't do. No, thank you. Hard pass. Party foul. There's a reason to get together with friends. Research published in Nature Human Behavior found that loneliness and social isolation can lead to higher levels of certain proteins in the blood, which were linked to inflammation, heart disease, stroke, diabetes, and even early death. Now, these proteins are part of the body's stress and immune responses, showing that loneliness or isolation can directly affect physical health. In other words, spending time with others isn't just important for emotional well being, but it's critical for overall health. Want to brush up on your social fitness? No, thank you. I object. Seek out a third place, such as a community center that offers classes, assist neighbors with their household chores, or chat with people you regularly cross paths with, like the mom you see on the school drop off line or the barista who makes your daily latte. Another way to socialize is start a YouTube channel and drink milk. Maybe not in a milkshake form, which was Chubby Mo's problem. Drinking a glass of milk a day may reduce the risk of colorectal cancer, aka bowel cancer, according to a large study by the University of Oxford. They found that consuming 300 milligrams of calcium daily, which is equivalent to a large glass of milk, can lower one's risk of bowel cancer by 17%. Not so into milk, the study's authors found similar protective benefits when people enjoyed calcium rich foods like leafy greens, yogurt, non dairy milks, cheese, and ice cream. However, it didn't make a difference in terms of this cancer risk. So there you go. And you can be surrounded by people and feel lonely. So that's in another WTF story. What the actual Schnell? You guys, what is going on? This headline: U.S. Border Patrol reportedly captures a Russian mercenary carrying a drone, two passports, and $4,000. I'm sure he was just here to visit Disney World. He was just here for a new start. American dream. Thank you, Emma. Or, sorry, Jill Elves. Oh, good Lord. Having a moment. Thank you so much for the super chat. I track my alcohol intake. When the bottle's empty, I buy another bottle. I like that plan. I'm going to institute that. Although I still have, so you guys know how I was so proud of my Advent wine calendar. I still have like 23 bottles I need to get through. So I am on a booze buying moratorium because Mr. Mo is like, I don't care if you don't really like red wine. If you're not going to use it, put it in food. Thank you so much. A Russian mercenary was arrested by U.S. Border Patrol agents earlier this month after he illegally entered the U.S. near Roma, Texas, according to report. Yeah, yes. No, the Mo mating call is, "Hey, honey, I think I can dance." Now, I have confessed that I look like Elaine having a spastic attack when I dance, but something about drunk Mo thinks my hips don't lie. Now, what they do is Morse code that no one can even functionally read. But when Mo's feeling herself and she thinks she can dance, that is the point at which we need to cut Mo off. Mo needs to be cut off or we're getting 7. ValleyCentral.com in Harlingen, Texas, reported that agents encountered Timur Parvel as he crossed the Rio Grande into Texas carrying 2 passports, $4,000 on January 4th, 2025. He was ultimately arrested. A criminal complaint acquired by the station shows that Pravel was questioned about his citizenship during the encounter and stated he was a citizen of Kazakhstan. Now, another court document shows that he appeared in court last Tuesday with counsel and entered a guilty plea of knowingly and unlawfully entering the U.S. at a place other than a designated immigrant, kind of where you would go. During the court hearing, Assistant U.S. Attorney Amanda McCullen reportedly told the judge that he was also in possession of a drone in his backpack while he crossed the United States. She added that when questioned, he admitted to being a member of the Wagner Group. The judge presiding over the case ruled that he was guilty as charged and ordered an imprisonment plus a special assessment of $10. Now, the station reported that Prevel was asked if he had anything to say, and he responded, "Niet," or no. U.S. Customs Border Protection did not immediately respond to Fox News Digital's request for information on the matter. In 2023, the U.S. Department of Treasury designated the Wagner Group as a significant transnational crime organization, which resulted in sanctions against the group and its supported networks across multiple continents. The Wagner Group has operated in several regions, excuse me, including the Middle East, Africa, and Venezuela, and has long caused no end of problems for U.S. policymakers. Since its inception in 2014, the group has been considered a proxy group of the Russian state abroad, according to the Center for Strategic International Studies, or CSIS. The group rose to prominence during the Russian invasion of Ukraine. The group currently has approximately 50,000 members deployed in Ukraine, including 10,000 contractors and 40,000 convicts, according to U.S. officials. Wagner has increasingly leaned on recruitment from prisons, which often included trained military veterans. U.S. intelligence has indicated previously that the Russian Defense Ministry has reservations about Wagner's recruiting methods, but the group will continue to find fresh troops in prison. So there you go. Well, depends on a turd sandwich right now. Well, just in case you wondered, maybe hell is real. These are 5 places that may be the portal to hell. Scientists offer evidence of portals to purgatory and beyond. Well, y'all know where I'll be going because I laughed at that guy doing Prancer size Saturday. Straight to Hades and or purgatory. Hell on Earth might not be just an exaggeration. Scattered about the globe are various locations that scientists believe could be entrances into the underworld, ranging from a volcanic hellhole in Iceland to an underwater cave filled with victims of human sacrifice. For our purposes, the underworld will encompass a variety of different theologies, even though the lion's share holds significance in Christianity. Best of all, you can go to hell and visit these so-called, portals beyond purgatory yourself. Kiwi Green, I don't think that Russia is too keen on Wagner. They invaded Russia when their leader wasn't getting what he wanted. Yeah, I will be the first to admit that I don't have a functional base of knowledge in the Ukraine-Russia thing, so I rarely comment because I just don't know enough, and I don't have the, wealth of knowledge that you need to make any sort of not ridiculous or thoughtful statement. So I generally don't comment. And I thought Buffy took care of it, damn it. Are you telling me we need to get Buffy back and Faith? Don't forget Faith. Let's see. Guyana. Well, I mean, don't drink the Kool-Aid there. Few places seem as synonymous with the netherworld as Guyana, the Greek word for hell. Now or Gehenna. Maybe it's Gehenna. The locale, whose name is derived from the Hebrew Gi Himon, meaning Valley of Hinnom, was a real valley outside the walls of Old Jerusalem where the ancient Israelis would burn little people in a sacrifice to the Ammonite god Moloch. Holy flapjacks in Florida. What is okay. In fact, the image of immolating bodies inspired the concept of hellfire in Jewish and Christian theology. This manner of corpse disposal would have contributed to the place's hellish connotations. No, I think burning children would attribute to that. What the flippin' flapjacks? If a god desires you to kill children, bad god. We don't pray to him. He's not going to do anything for you. Holy fazoli. Ooh, Willow was a redhead. Not gonna lie. So there you go. When the Bible was translated for other languages, Gehenna was swapped out for the word hell, meaning this location is as close to hell on earth as you might get. Hell, Michigan, eat your heart out. So there is a hell, Michigan. I must go and get a t-shirt. Uh, Herapolis. Herapolis is a portal to the afterlife in both figurative and literal sense, in that it can actually kill people who enter. Located in modern day Turkey, the ancient Greek metropolis has a passageway that leads into a cave like grotto in an open area. Priests would carry sacrificial animals down through the door, known as Pluto's Gate, whereupon the beast would be unalived, according to storytellers. Uh, Sometimes even the priest would follow their fate in extreme hallucinations. So they were high AF. They were smoking all the weird stuff and then going in and trying to execute an animal, and sometimes they do that themselves. This so-called toxic death trap seemed to be a myth until 2013, when archaeologists discovered the carved arch opening in the Temple of Pluto with fumes spouting up from thermal springs below a subterranean gas chamber. These carbon dioxide vapors can kill birds and other small animals that get too close to this satanic temple, making it one of the scariest gates of hell on earth. So it's a vent, and they were having carbon monoxide. Well, I mean, you don't have science, you make it up. Okay. Uh, Hekla, and I've probably pronounced that all the wrong. Those driving through the gravel road to this Icelandic volcano adventure are on a highway to hell. Medieval Christians claimed that the snow capped mountain, which stands nearly 4,900 feet tall, is one of the gateways to the netherrealm. The Icelandic word hekla refers to short hooded cloak, which could reflect the spooky clouds that perpetually shroud the summit. Volcanoes are often seen as real life hellholes due to the molten rock that burbles beneath their surface. People's fears were seemingly confirmed in the year 1104 when Helka erupted with a volcanic explosivity index of 5, the same rating as Mount St. Helens' deadly 1980 eruption. The 11th century explosion was so bombastic that more than half of Iceland was pummeled by rock and ash. In 1180, a Cistercian monk named Herbert de Chelvet declared Helka more deadly than Mount Etna in Italy. The renowned fiery cauldron of Sicily, which men call Hell's Chimney, that cauldron is affirmed to be like a small furnace when compared to this enormous inferno, he wrote. Meanwhile, 16th century German scholar Caspar Purser claimed that the gates of hell could be found in a bottomless abyss of Helkafell. Oh, this is going to be one I have no idea. Atun Tukili Monaco. Look, somewhere where something is. The road to perdition isn't restricted to the old world. Case in point, Belize's Atun Chinchol Makono, literally the cave of the stone scepter, which extends more than 3 miles underground. While it might seem unworldly enough on its own, this subterranean labyrinth is riddled with the remains of children as young as 4. What is Past, you suck. Stop murdering children. Past, you were awful. Good lord. Now, archaeologists believe that the cenote or pit, as it's referred to, uh, is the heavy metal version of hell in Mayan theology. The afterlife, quarters were described as a terrifying labyrinth filled with rivers of blood and scorpions with demonic beings lurking around every corner. Well, I mean, that's a children's story you tell your kids. The descendants, meanwhile, were thought to have sacrificed these children in the 10th century at a time when apocalyptic natural disasters such as droughts were accelerating the decline of the Mayan Empire. It was believed they could appease, Shiktaba's rulers so they would cease the dry spells. Obviously, it didn't work. Again, past unaliving children will not change the weather. Oh, I look like I found my home, St. Patrick's Purgatory. I'm there. Now called Station Island, the iconic pilgrimage site in Northwest Ireland was what's considered the edge of the known world. According to a Latin text written circa 1184, Christ showed St. Patrick this pit to purgatory so he could use it as a cautionary tale to convince stubborn Irish people to convert. Look at this pit. Do you want to live there or do you want to accept Jesus? It's I will 300 kick you into the pit if you don't accept the Lord Jesus Christ as your savior. They were hardcore. I'm pretty sure he probably did a couple donkey kicks. Allegedly, St. Peter, I'm not saying that you kicked anyone. Please let me into heaven. Anyone who descended into this hellhole of fire and demons would witness the consequences of shunning Christianity firsthand. Accounts of St. Patrick's Purgatory differ, but it was reportedly a modest sized cave where there was smoke, and traditionally it was inhaled to facilitate spiritual awakening. He's like, look, you need to inhale. Just inhale a little bit, just the fumes. You'll be all spiritual and high. Well, thank you, Dingus, for making an appearance. Would you like to say hi? He's like, no, I would just like you to feed me again. I feel that. I feel that. Well, in military news, as a military brat myself, new aircraft carriers will be named after former presidents. So we are getting a new Bill Clinton, craft and George W. Bush. Yay. It's the George W. Please don't sink in the ocean or get hit by a freaking, iceberg. Two nuclear power aircraft carriers to be constructed in the years ahead will carry the names of former President Bill Clinton and former President George W. Bush, the White House announced Monday. Quote, when I personally delivered the news to Bill and George, they were deeply humbled, President Joe Biden said in a statement 1 week before he leaves office. I'm riding the Bush. I'm on the Clinton wagon. Please tell me it'll have like a booze room or a cigar, what is it, humidor? Is that what you put cigars on in? I know it's a special place that has all these special things, so the cigars are awesome, but that's about as much as I know about that. Each knows firsthand the weight and responsibilities that come with being commander in chief. They both know well our duty to support the families and loved ones who wait and worry for the safe return of their service member. Clinton served in the White House between 1993 and 2001, and Bush served from 2001 to 2008. So there we go. We've got the Clinton and the Bush. It'll be, ridiculous. Why are we doing this? In what I can only imagine my youngest, most feral son will do, I wanted the okay, refresh because I want the video that goes with this. In what I can only assume is something my son will do quite when he gets his own crotch rocket. Uh, yeah, that's a no. But a Swedish stunt rider has performed a handlebar wheelie at 125 miles an hour. Because why? Boys, I'm just telling you, boys, whenever you think you're a little too prideful, I have noticed this in my life. I get humbled, which is why I have learned to stay humble because going in 4th child and I had 3 girls, I thought, "I got this. I have got this. This is not my first rodeo." Well, when you are used to, like, dressage ponies with girls and then you get to a goat rodeo with boys, I it is like looking at chaos in a handbasket. A Swedish stunt rider broke a Guinness World Record when he reached a speed of 125.93 miles while leaning on his handlebars doing a wheelie, because that's what you do. Magnus Carlsen, 51, performed the stunt on his KTM 1290 Super Duke motorcycle at Skovvold Airport in Sweden and broke the record for the fastest motorcycle wheelie. He had reached a top speed of 125, 0.93 or 202.67 kilometers per hour, coming the first record holder to break the 200-kilometer mile or mark. The previous record stood at 109 miles per hour. The wheel bar or the handlebar wheelie is my absolute favorite stunt of all. It's the one of the stunts that took the most attention during my career as a stunt rider, Carlson told Guinness World Records. The first time I did a handlebar wheelie was 1992. He said 3 years later, I made a record attempt at Skvold Airport in Sweden. Since a few handlebar wheelie records run over the years have been made and documented by Guinness World Records, I wanted to make a record attempt while I still have a bike and the knowledge to try to break the 200-kilometer handlebar wheelie. So there you go. He did his duty, and holy God, that is dangerous, and I don't want my son to find out about that. And before I let you go, quick reminders, I will be doing a name and shame burn book kind of Lori Vallow, the mommy monster with the voice of a princess. We will be going over her pro se, hearing in just a little bit. So I am sending you guys over to that. You don't have to follow, but you are going to be sent over there. I know that Baker has a trial going on that looks pretty interesting. So no shame if you're on replay crew. But I figured I'd tell you the story of how I knew I was in love with Mr. Mo. Now we'd been dating and I sent him an email because we met online, not Tinder. It wasn't created yet, nor was Grinder. But I sent him an email because we both kind of matched. And I basically said, like, get your running shoes on. This is my life. I have 3 little girls. I have a lot of baggage. But I have a lot of things. I'm a package deal, that kind of thing. Thank you so much, Pokemom. I got this at, Goodwill. I am a Goodwill shopper, not Plenty of Fish. I think it was eHarmony, but I could be really wrong. It's been 14 years. But I basically sent him that email figuring I wasn't going to get a response back because I had sent this email before, kind of giving people because I wanted to be honest and straightforward, and I was looking for a real relationship-ish. Look, I was 26. Got most of my wild out, but so anyways, I sent him that and we were dating for a couple months and 1 week, we just had 1 hell week where everyone was sick. And I am talking like you are just living on Dayquil, the kids are on Dimetap, and of course, as always, nature provides that the children feel better in about 24 hours while the flu is still actively kicking you in the face. So we were having that moment. I think he and we had put the girls who were much younger, like 4 and 2 and 3 months, we'd put them, in their safe room and area, and we had all gone down to lay down. And I wake up before everyone else. And I go downstairs in his house, and it is raining from the ceiling. I am not kidding you. There is I think it was like a fire thing or fire smoke detector, and it is just raining water down on the first floor. and I run upstairs, like, haul behind as fast as I can. My girls have turned on both faucets in the upstairs bathroom, and it is just flooded, and I am mortified, terrified, like, to the point I'm shaking. I'm getting towels, I am running around like a crazy person. I have, a fan on, and I am shaking in my boots. I figure this is the end of this relationship. I really like this guy, but we have just ruined his house, and how much is this going to cost for me to fix it? So I am walking into the room trembling. Now, Mr. Mo is a nice guy. Knew he wasn't going to, blow up, but when you kind of live with that expectation for a while, it can be terrifying to kind of go in. So now, Mr. Mo, when he tells this story, he's like, "You were shaking like a leaf," and I was like, "No, I was a gangster." I came in, I was like, "Look, my kids are evil." I'm just kidding. I I was shaking and I was terrified because I figured this was the end. This was a huge, huge mess up. My kids, oh my gosh, they ruined your entire house. And he just looked at me and he said, "They're kids and we can fix it. I know how to do drywall. It'll be okay. Is anyone hurt?" And I have seen The Grinch, and I'm pretty sure that my heart grew 2 sizes that day. Now, I'm still a sarcastic asshole, but that is the moment when I really fell in love with Mr. Mo, because I knew that when things were gonna be crazy, when you have 3 kids, when you have 6 kids, when you have anything in life, there's gonna be chaos, and you wanna walk through someone that can, calm your ass down when you're freaking out. And we've had our moments where I'm gonna be honest, for the last 3 years since I've gotten hurt, it has really been tough. Feels like we aren't on the same page. I'm dealing with my whole body changing, and he's dealing with trying to support me, and we just but if you're struggling, if you're not on the same page with your partner, we all have chapters where it feels like we're just here and we're not quite getting it, and that pain is so real because your best friend and you're just not seeing it. No, they were just the sinks. It was the sinks, it wasn't even the bathtub. I struggle to think how long that was leaking. But you will get back on the same page if you both wanna work on it. It's it's 100% from both people. I have learned that, and I have learned that you have to grow. It's not easy. You have to reach out. You have to be willing to listen and maybe listen to things that you don't like about yourself and consider changing them. Marriage is so tough, and it's not always easy, but it is nice to have, someone there, and being single is okay too. But I have told Mr. Mo he cannot die and or leave because I'm never dating again. Now, I don't know how he's going to achieve either of those things, but that is his rule. And one final story for you guys. So, Mr. Mo and I had 2 marriages or 2 weddings. Our first one was a little civil ceremony down in the basement in Franklin, okay, Indiana. So I am down in this, like, moldy basement, and we are just both he took, like, an hour off for lunch. We were just doing it so I could start getting TRICARE benefits, and then we would have our church wedding, which is what we consider our real wedding. Now, Mr. Mo should have known what he was getting into. So we're waiting there. There's another couple. We're on this manky carpet. It is dark as hell. We are in like Satan's basement down here with the mold and the mothballs. And I'm over here holding Mr. Mo's hand. And she gets to the vow for richer or poorer. And considering this is a state wedding, and I don't think the state should be anywhere near marriages, mostly because they're mostly a tax thing but anyhoozle, weird Dale Gribble aside, I decided that I'd already tried poorer and I didn't like it, so I just did for richer or richer because it's a civil ceremony. And Mr. Mo was mortified. He's like, "Why did you do that?" And I was like, "Look, I have tried poorer and I have decided it's not my jam, so I'm gonna go for aspirational manifestation of richer and richer." He should have known. I did give him warnings. He knew what he was getting into, maybe not the wigs, but he's still with me for 14 years, so hopefully he'll be here for 14 more and we never have to date again, except each other. That is the one thing that I think is important, and I know it's difficult, but if you can make time for the other person, it doesn't have to be a date night, but I have found that it's really easy to get, bogged down with the everyday thing in life that you have to do, that you don't always take a moment to appreciate the people around you. So that's my lesson today. Take some time to appreciate the people around you. And if you haven't heard it today, you are loved just the way you are. Have a wonderful day, you guys. I will see you in a little bit. I'm going to get the Lori Vallow stuff ready. Bye.